County Board of Commissioners. Would all those who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision, neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority. And may we use our directives for the common good and for thy honor and glory. Amen. Amen. Thank you all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Bregovich.
Here.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Present.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. Okay, we have before us the meeting minutes of the regular meeting of March 30, 2023, April 6, 2023, April 20, 2023, and April 27, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve same, waiving the reading thereof?
Move to approve. Second.
Thank you. Discussion being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Bregovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. All right, moving on to our first public comment portion. We have Neil Stein with us. I believe you have something to talk to us about item number 12, because I believe you have another commitment to get to. So welcome.
I do. Thank you. Thank you for letting me go first before, I won't presume that it will get approved today, but hopefully. Neil Stein with Lily County Visitors Bureau. I just wanted to talk real quick about item on the agenda for today, our the grant from the American Rescue Plan. We were able to work with you guys last year on some additional funding through, again, American Rescue Plan funds to help supplement our arts and culture grant program that we've been doing for the Visitors Bureau for years and years and years, as well as our community events grants, and then some of our bigger events that we're involved with in sponsorship. So I know it's on the agenda today for an additional round of funding for that. Excuse me. I know when the American Rescue Plan was passed, a couple years ago now, the genesis behind that was to help people that really struggle with COVID-related issues and coronavirus stuff. And one of the things we do, we support these events in our communities, from Leroy to Eastlake to anything in between. And these events took a huge hit with COVID. They didn't have nothing happened in 2020, 2021. They had all these additional expenses, issues trying to do an event with COVID regulations, and they got hit financially really hard. So that arts and culture grant fund that we have became even more important for those guys and those people that plan those events. And again, that money that you guys helped supplement last year, I know was immensely appreciated. I know probably almost all of them reach out to you guys to note their appreciation for that. So we had talked about it a little bit, to see if we wanted to continue that this year. So I know it's on the agenda to hopefully approve that today. And again, I know those folks, assuming it gets approved, will be super appreciative of that. A big part of travel and tourism is events, and we're so lucky that we have great events throughout the county all year long. So that's one thing. And just a couple quick notes on that. Back in 2020, all these applications came in before COVID, so these are real numbers. We had 32 grant applications, 2021, 29. Last year, we had 39 events get grants, and we gave out, including the money from the commissioners, over $250,000 to support these events. This year, we've had a huge number, a record number of events. We'll have 49 different events get funding through this, over $244,000. We've been, blessed to do, hopefully doing our job, and we've had, record-breaking bed tax numbers. So we increased our funding for these events by 40% from last year to this year, because we know how important it is and how much some of these events and organizations have struggled. So we're putting our money where our mouth is too, and that money from the commissioners will help immensely as well. I got attendance numbers. Last year was over 485,000 people that have attended the events that we gave grants to. This year it'll be well over 500,000 people, 500,000 people. So again, anything from the Leroy Bicentennial to the 2-day Wonderstruck Festival at Lakeland, and anything in between. So again, we're really appreciative that you guys consider this, and that those ARPA dollars are going to go again. it goes to us, but we pass it through. We don't use any of this money for anything else. We're passing it on to these people organizing events. So they can continue, and these events are part of all of our different communities. So, I just want to say thank you in advance. And I did ask one of our folks that I've talked to that, they probably got the biggest hit from COVID. Shannon Barnhill from Fairport Harbor Mardi Gras, if she can talk for just a second too. But I just wanted to thank you guys in advance for that. And, again, if anybody asks any questions about any of this stuff, I'm always happy to answer it. But I'm actually going to meet with the captains about their big celebrity softball game event, which will get one of these grants. That's where I'm headed right after this. So thank you guys.
And just to be clear, it's a 3-year commitment this time rather than a 1 year?
I know that was discussed. I didn't see if it was in there, but
Oh, gotcha.
I know it was discussed, but yeah.
Okay, yes, thank you.
I brought a few of our flyers they're out to print if you'd like a copy. It has all the
thank you.
pertinent information for the event this year. My name is Shannon Barnhill. I am the president of Fairport Mardi Gras, but I do not do it alone, and that is for sure. This year will be our 81st year serving the local communities. In just the past 34 of those years, we've donated over $176,000 to local scholarships, food pantries, youth leagues, band boosters, and many other clubs and donation requests. Mardi Gras has also spent over $800,000 in supporting local businesses and clubs through contracts for security, local bands, auxiliary groups, our Queens program, local fireworks companies, and other local establishments. We are a 100% volunteer-run organization, which means I do this all for free. With several families being on their second or third generation of participating. Our VP and his wife, Mike and Nancy Gladding, they grew up in Fairport and their mom volunteered for decades. Pam and Penny Gavelda, our sisters, they grew up in Fairport, and Becky Schreiber is now our longest standing member. And they and just a few others, there's really only a handful of us that are the backbone of the entire event. Our volunteer numbers have diminished to just over a dozen full-time participants who work the entire week of events. They do the setup, they do the teardown. We're talking 80-year-old women out there in the heat setting up things for the event, up to 18 hours a day for 6 days straight. The grant program and Your Match has graciously been vital to our continued success as we have combated so many obstacles in just the last few years. We are grateful for the grants made in 2022 and hopefully 2023 to Fairport Mardi Gras. They have given the dedicated small number of us a jolt of determination to continue. In both 22 and now 23, we have used the grants funds mainly to expand our marketing programs for the event. Let people know we're back from COVID, that sort of thing. Radio ads on 95.5 The Fish to bring more family-friendly communities, bus ads on Lake Tran, print ads in Today's Family, and a news spotlight on Today Cleveland. We were also able to offset the post-COVID increases on our costs of security and fireworks, which went up probably 20% alone, just those two items. And they make up about half of our budget. So, unfortunately, last year, as we battled returning from a 2-year hiatus, extreme rising costs and diminishing volunteers, our ride company closed with almost no notice. Typically, these contracts are booked 2 to 3 years out, and Mike and I spent weeks calling every single company from Georgia to Canada with no avail. We did find a company, Lisco's, who will be back this year, so they will be giving us rides and games for this year. And we were ultimately able to find a company to provide some filler entertainment, not rides and games, but the return on investment on that option was a massive blow to our budget. So honestly, it's entirely possible that this will be our last year for Mardi Gras. It takes over $65,000 and realistically closer to $80,000 on a bare bones budget to put on our festival. This year we were able to scrape together every cent we have in our checkings, our savings, donations, the grants, and some CDs that were put together in better times decades ago. And we have enough for this year. But if we don't have an exceptional year or we face another catastrophic event like COVID or the shuttering of our previous ride company, we won't have the funds to continue, which is what makes this grant so vital because it really does help us offset all of these amazing costs or increasing costs that we've had over the last few years. So we really appreciate your consideration and we appreciate the donation last year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Neil, thank you for coming up early.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
All right, and with that, do we have anyone in the audience wishing to address us? Yes, please.
Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Mary Ellen Abel. I live at 50 Barley Drive, Painesville Township, Ohio. I would like to amend your worker safety recognition last week, because there's a little-known industry in our county, and it's the safety organization that handles it is the Mine Safety Health Administration. Morton Salt is covered by the mine MSHA, so is in Carmeuse Lime. And I believe the sand dredging operations that are handled by, Osborne and Sidley's are also covered by MSHA. And I would appreciate you including them in the worker safety, because their safety hazards are unique. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir.
Brian Massey, 8196 Rainbow Drive. I just want to thank Commissioner Hammercheck for facilitating 2 meetings that I had with the Lake County Building Department and with Jason regarding the Ohio Means Jobs. I do appreciate them taking the time to explain how all of this system works, but I thank you, Commissioner Hammercheck, for having the just taking the time and making sure that the people know that they do have a platform if they have any questions. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, anyone else? We do have a government class here. I think it's customary for each of the students to come up and give a 21-minute report. For those who have been here before, they know I'm pulling their leg. Mr. Massey's usually my victim of having the leg pulled, so. But we are blessed. We do have a full class of students here, so that is a very good thing. So thank you for your time and your engagement. Anyone else wishing to address this board at this time? Anyone else? All right, moving on to first agenda item number 1. Madam Clerk.
And special resolutions, resolution proclaiming the month of May 2023 Mental Health Awareness Month in Lake County, Ohio.
Move to approve.
Second. Discussion.
Mr. President,
Sir.
I want to say a particular thank you to the Adams Board for helping us to kick off the recognitions this month. I was able earlier this week to join the chief of the Concord Fire Department, who also heads up the Adams Board, in a get-together of first responders to essentially reiterate, as we think about mental health awareness, that first responders in particular deal with a very stressful profession and job, and there's been a historic stigma against seeking help. And so it's important that we as a community acknowledge that everybody sometimes needs a little bit of help, and that we have the resources available for every career and profession. And so we have a particular focus on making greater access available to first responders, but this month is for everyone. And so the Board of County Commissioners is grateful that we have the opportunity to proclaim May 2023 as Mental Health Month in Lake County.
Thank you. Mr. Ravick, anything to add, sir?
I think what we've all been through in the last few years, we've seen the spotlight on mental health, and I think now more than ever, it's touched more people, and it's not so something you want to keep in the closet anymore. It's more prevalent to talk about. It's more easier to get help, I hope, and I hope anybody that needs that can reach out.
Indeed. Kim, anything you wanted to add?
Yes, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kim Frazier from Lake County Adams Board. On behalf of the board, we just want to thank you for helping us to raise awareness and recognize May as Mental Health Month. What we know is that in the United States every year, 1 in 5 adults experiences mental illness, and yet less than half of those individuals get help. We know that here in Lake County, every single month, over 300 of our friends, neighbors, and loved ones find themselves in our local emergency department in psychiatric crisis. We know that mental illness is treatable. It is as treatable as diabetes and heart disease, and like those diseases, early intervention is key. So having these conversations, being open and honest, stamping out stigma is vital. We know here in Lake County, the quickest way to get access to help is through our free anonymous Compass line, which is 440-350-2000. A call to that number is any individual's helps their journey towards wellness. We know that through our Lake County network of care, we are able to positively impact over 60,000 lives here in Lake County every single year. So the more we can dialogue, the more we can raise awareness and have individuals like you help to tell our story, the better able we are to connect people with help. So again, on behalf of the board, we just want to thank you for helping to shine a light on this.
It's very kind of you, and we appreciate what you're doing. Again, the issue of destigmatizing the issues of addiction, masking mental health issues.
Yes.
And those are very difficult conversations to have.
They are.
We appreciate the candor that you and your team and your partners have been working diligently to destigmatize and get that to be something that is being addressed.
Absolutely. Help is available today for anyone who wants it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, anything? Excellent. Thank you.
We should.
Madam Clerk, vote, roll call. Did we trying to figure out which part we're at here?
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, and now we can do that bit. Thank you. Yeah, I pulled out my game on that.
Switch over here.
One, two, three. Good.
Yeah.
New York
These
Times.
are probably better than
Now
mine
it's a
anyway.
bit, but-
All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next item, please.
Resolution proclaiming May 2023 Foster Parent Recognition Month in Lake County, Ohio.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Suzanne, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Commissioner. Job and Family Services appreciates the Board of Commissioners considering this resolution today to recognize May being National Foster Care Month. We always appreciate any opportunity we have to recognize our foster parents who open their homes and hearts to the children in our community who come into the custody of Job and Family Services and need a healthy and safe environment. I did invite our wonderful substitute care supervisor, Jean Tetrick, to also come to the meeting with me today to say a few additional words about our foster parents, if it would be okay for him to come up.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Jean.
Thank you, Suzanne. Good morning, Commissioners Regovich, Hammercheck, and Plechnik. I hope you're having a good day, and for the little Star Wars fan in all of us, may the 4th be with you today. I was so excited to say that, I have to say. But the bigger
We were
issue...
thinking best to see if Commissioner Plechnik would be the first one to get it in there.
As I was walking over with Suzanne today, I said, I can't believe it's May. I can't believe we're already here today. And then I got excited because I'm like, it's May. I get to talk about my foster parents and the wonderful work that they do throughout the year. As always, over at JFS, we are very happy for all the support that the Commissioner's Office gives us and the foster parents of Lake County. We have 46 strong families in our community right now who have done such a fantastic job over the past year, working with birth parents, helping our little kiddos through a really difficult time in their life, and just doing amazing things and working with our social work staff to get those kiddos to a good place during a bad part in their life. So I wanted to say again, thank you for the support that you always do give to us, and for helping us get the word out and celebrate our foster parents this year in 2023.
Excellent, excellent. And we always appreciate your high energy and positive attitude. Kind of uplifting, sometimes very sobering topics
We all
to
need
discuss.
it. We always need it a little bit, right?
Gentlemen, anything further?
Mr. President,
Sir.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. The best word for foster parent is saint, because a foster parent creates a family.
Yes.
Creates a family for a child who needs one, creates a community, and ultimately builds the future. There is no more important role than being a parent, and being a foster parent is a very special way of achieving that role and taking on a responsibility that no one makes you. You step forward for that child and your community. So once again, foster parents are saints, and the work that you do in facilitating them, along with Director Kazar, it's such a blessing to our whole community, so thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ravitch?
Mr. President, I agree wholeheartedly with Commissioner Pleshnik. I happen to have good friends that were foster parents and ended up adopting all 3 kids that they fostered, and seeing the hardships they've gone through from infancy and some of them and all the way to where they're grown adults now, these kids, and with a future and a home, and it's amazing, and it's our job as a community to support these foster parents. So when you have a chance to go to the foster parent dinner or any of the events, I encourage everybody to take part.
Thank you. That's wonderful to hear.
Thank you. Questions? All right, and with that, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. And you know what's next.
I do. There you go.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
Very good. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
In the engineer's office, resolution approving the amendment to the LPA agreement, increasing the ODOT eligible cost up to $475,000 for the LAK Booth Road, County Road 535-0.24 Bridge Rebid Project in the city of Kirtland, Ohio, federal project number E230160, PID number 117512, LCE project number 2022-018.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Engineer.
Yes, this, you might remember from last week, I had indicated that we got no bids on this project, and talking to the contractor, he said we were 50% low with our number. We've been able to go back to CEAO, and they did have some money. They increased our federal share by $125,000, and so we are ready to put the thing back on the street and see if we can now catch a fish.
And just to give a little more background, part of the reason has to do with obviously cost escalations and other forces driving costs that are beyond your agency's control.
Well, the interesting part about this particular bid, when we reviewed it against the bid that we just took, the concrete price was double what we estimated, and we doubled what we had been estimated. So we can't, it's just almost next to impossible to keep up with cost.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir. Anything further? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Utilities Department, resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within Lake County Department of Utilities Water Operating Fund and Project Fund 595, Vine Street Waterline, Willowick Drive, to State Route 91, Project 447W, 2021.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Gary, anything you want to add? Are you good?
I think we're good overall. Obviously, this is a multi-million-dollar water line project that we're investing in.
Oh, yeah, $2,518,215. Yeah.
This is phase 2.
Pretty good. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $6,300,000 for Arcola Creek Bennett Road Sanitary Improvement Phase 1 Project Number 454S and advertising for bids for the same. Bid opening June 7th, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $59,824.78 for Pinecrest Road Sanitary Sewer Extension in Concord Township, job number 22-60 for the Lake County Department of Utilities, and authorizing construction in accordance with ORC 307.73.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution certifying unpaid water and sewer sums and administrative charges to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Gary, did you want to give a little tutorial for our students in the audience as to what this means? No, seriously, Gary actually is really good at education. He doesn't get many opportunities to speak. These are literally the people who are not keeping current with their bills for the utilities. It gets referred to their tax bill, and that's how we collect it. Gary, do you want to add to that? Or he's actually a really good teacher, so this was an opportunity. I think I kind of took him by surprise here.
He loves to speak on camera.
I think that was well said, but yes, the important feature he spoke to is pay your bills on time so that you won't get in trouble.
There you go. The government's got to collect somehow. Got to keep that water flowing in and out. All right, Gary, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution authorizing all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council NOPEC Energized Community Grants.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Jason, anything you want to add?
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. Resolution in front of you is a resolution we do annually from NOPEC. They provide funds to local jurisdictions, including Lake County, a couple different grants, a community grant, a smaller amount, about $1,500 that you can use for local events, community festivals, etc., and a little bit larger of a grant, $15,000 or so that the counties, communities, etc., can use for energy efficiency type projects, lighting, HVAC, etc. This is part of the process to accept those funds. Donna Tyson from the Commissioner's Office kind of keeps tabs on these. We have a couple of these we've purposefully kind of kept, so we're trying to build a little bit of a balance to see if there's some projects of significance that we can accomplish here in the county. I'm happy to answer any questions. We've been getting these for the past number of years. So.
Very good. Gentlemen? Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution to provide written notice to all political subdivisions within Lake County of the intent to amend the mutual aid agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners and all political subdivisions to add the Lake County Sheriff or his designee as a permanent member of the Lake County Narcotics Executive Board of the Lake County Narcotics Agency.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? I will say this is something we've been talking about for at least the last 7 years that I know of. I'm glad that we're finally moving on that. Sheriff, anything you want to comment on? Or okay. All right.
Mr. President.
Sir.
As the Narcotics Board member on this panel, this is something that the we're having a big turnover in police chiefs in Lake County. We're going to lose 6 this year, I believe, which were all sat on the narcotics board for some time. And so we have a big turnover, but the narcotics agents actually work under or deputized by the sheriff. So it made sense to have the sheriff on our board to be able to vote and have a say in what goes on. So we're making those changes now, and we're glad to do it.
Agreed. He's been an ex officio member for quite some time, and I will say the institutional knowledge that he brings is absolutely valuable beyond price. So with that, consider yourself patted on the back, sir. All right, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of agreements between the Lake County Board of Commissioners and the City of Willowick for funds received from the U.S. Department of Treasury under the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, known as the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, for East 327th Street Sewer Rehabilitation Phase 2 project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr.
Mr. Regovich, I know this was one near and dear to you.
So the mayor of Willowick wish he could be here, but like so many other elected officials, he has another job. But this is part of a study that Willowick did, I think, in 2014 on sewer rehabilitation, and this is the continuation of that. This allows them to get a whole street done with containing I&I in Willowick, which is a big problem with basement flooding and things like that. While I was mayor there, we were able to decrease this neighborhood, which is in the 320s between Lakeshore and Vine Street, and Lakeshore and Willowick Drive, which is the oldest section of Willowick, by 25%. So that actually brings down sewer costs to the citizens because we're putting 25% less sewer during a storm event. So they're going to continue along that way, and we've already spent millions in our sewers, and they will continue to do so.
There you go. I&I, inflow and infiltration.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay, because
when they go in the wrong pipe.
Yes, yes, rainwater, groundwater getting in, and then we have to process it just like we would the sewer. So when you're doing that by the gallon, it adds up fast. All right, if there's nothing further, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of agreements between the Lake County Board of Commissioners and the Lake County Health District for funds received from the U.S. Department of Treasury under the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, known as the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, for window replacement project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Jason?
Yeah, Commissioners, this resolution, similar to all of our ARPA projects, including the previous one, have received internal review based on ARPA guidance. Were then submitted to outside counsel for concurrence memo for eligibility, and in front of you today for adoption. This resolution, as one can imagine, during COVID, the health district in particular was probably in the driver's seat during our recovery efforts, et cetera. And like a lot of our other agencies, Mr. Stein spoke about, saw a decrease in revenue while still having capital needs throughout their campus on Heisley Road in Mentor. One of the projects that is eligible at the health district was a window replacement program for their facility, and that is what is in front of you today for a cost share to assist the health district with the windows in their main headquarters in Mentor.
And by way of background, there were several other projects, but they also sought other funding than just us. They were successful at that, so those projects
Yes.
came off the table, and this was one of the outliers.
Very happy to assist the health district with all the work that they've been working on the better part of 3 years now. So I think they're finally coming up for a breath of fresh air.
Agreed. Gentlemen, anything further? Thank you, Jason. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the President of the Lake County Board of Commissioners to execute an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners and the Lake County Visitors Bureau for funds received from the U.S. Department of Treasury under the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, known as the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. This is the item we talked about at the beginning of the meeting. Is there anything further?
Mr. President.
Sir.
I would just say We thank the volunteers and organizers of Fairport Mardi Gras and all the different organizations throughout Lake County that work so hard to survive with a total shutdown in 2020 and little better in 2021. We have so many important traditions in this county, from the Timberlake Parade to Wonderstruck at Lakeland Community College. We need to make sure that in every way possible we support those institutions and traditions, because they're all volunteer and they're a really important part of our community. So thank you again personally, and to all the other volunteers that make this possible.
Well said. Sir?
Mr. President, I agree. This goes to quality of life here in Lake County. These events, some have been around for a long time, some are new. I was surprised in the last couple of years on how many we have, and how well attended and how much fun they are. I don't probably get to as many as Commissioner Pleshnik, but I don't know how many people do. So, but I will try my darndest this year.
No, I will say Commissioner Plechnik, to his credit, is sort of the Energizer Bunny and the unofficial ambassador for this board. So he gets to everything. And what he doesn't get to, it's not because he didn't try. So for that, we give you thanks. Thank you, Commissioner Regovich, as well. All right, if there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $1,586,402.19.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $926,918.49.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash and appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Very good. Moving on to departmental reports. Utilities.
No report today, Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Job and Family Services.
Thank you, Commissioner. Director of Workforce Development, Corey Bojack, he couldn't be here today at the Commissioners meeting, but he did ask me to provide an update about this week being In-Demand Jobs Week throughout the state of Ohio. So he shared some information with me that he was hoping that I could share with the board and with the public today. For those who may not be aware, In-Demand Jobs Week is the statewide celebration of the jobs, industries, and skills that are in demand in Ohio. This year, In-Demand Jobs Week will highlight Ohio's top jobs from STEM from Career Tech Center educations and the different paths Ohioans can take to land a successful career. The Ohio Means Jobs Lake County team has been very busy this week. They had activities scheduled every day this week to recognize In-Demand Jobs Week. I wanted to share some of those. On Monday, our team posted an in-demand hot jobs flyer promoting current available in-demand positions in Lake County. That flyer was posted online. On Tuesday, our Ohio Means Jobs Lake County team released a podcast episode of North Coast Careers, Lake County's workforce beacon. And we had a special guest on that podcast who was Lieutenant Governor John Husted. The episode had Lieutenant Governor speak on several topics, including career technical education, pre-apprenticeships, College Credit Plus, and industry recognized credentials. We were very grateful for the opportunity to have that meeting with him. On Wednesday, our team hosted the Gen Z Virtual Career Fair, and that was a career fair for young adults ages 16 to 28 with over 150 employers attending. Today, the Ohio Means Job Lake County team is hosting a Healthcare Career Expo at the Menor Civic Ice Arena. which is why Corey Bojack couldn't be here today, because he is preparing for that event. And tomorrow, the Ohio Means Job Lake County team will release a video highlighting the 13th annual RoboBots competition, which is the annual event hosted and coordinated by Alliance for Working Together. So we had some great activities planned this week. I also wanted to mention to the students in the audience that across the street at the Job and Family Services building is the Ohio Means Jobs Career Center. So if any students are ever in need of assistance with creating a resume or practicing interviewing skills or need assistance with job searches, you are always welcome to come into our Career Center Monday through Friday, anytime between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m.
Excellent. Thank you. Anything further for Suzanne? Thank you, ma'am. Okay, moving on, County Administrator.
Just very briefly, Commissioners, more of a public service announcement. Tomorrow, around the square, the City of Painesville will be hosting a Cinco de Mayo event on the square, so traffic, notably for our employees, beginning at 1 o'clock, parking and traffic will be restricted around the square. I hope a lot of our employees can join the city. I think this is their first annual event for Cinco de Mayo, so if you park or use the square beginning around 1 o'clock tomorrow, you should probably have alternative plans. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President?
Sir.
I just think it's important to add that HOLA, our Hispanic Heritage Center, is actually co-hosting with the City of
That's
Painesville.
correct.
So we're very grateful to them for their work in setting up this first event.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on, Madam Clerk.
Yes, our next regular commissioners meeting is going to be on Thursday, May 11th at 10 a.m. And as a reminder, we are having a viewing of the cul-de-sac that day in the morning at 9 o'clock a.m. It's in Concord Township, Hazel Drive.
So would you like to explain to our audience what that means?
Well, it's...
Or should I do the same thing I just did for Gary? We literally go out, we take a look at a piece of pavement, we stomp our foot on the ground and say, yep, it's pavement.
Yes.
Seriously.
We received a petition from residents in the area who want to vacate the road. So part of the process, the commissioners have to go out and view
That it's actually there.
So yes, your commissioners are going on vacation, a road vacation.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
I believe he stole that joke from me.
Gotta be quick. He's young and on the go there. All right, legal save us, sir.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. All right, this brings us to old business. Do you have any old business to come before the board?
Mr. President?
Sir.
For the Jedi among us, I do acknowledge, may the 4th be with you. But for the rest of us, this is actually the 71st anniversary of the National Day of Prayer. I know that many ministers and clergy are going to be gathering in Painesville today, first in Commissioners' Chambers, I believe at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, and then later in the evening out in Painesville Square to come together in prayer for the future of Lake County, Ohio, and the United States, as well as the whole world. The National Day of Prayer is a very important tradition in Lake County, and I just wanted to make sure we acknowledged it. I figured old business was appropriate because 71 years wouldn't really fit in the new business.
Well said, well said. And again, under old business, I would also throw out there Kent State, May 4th, 1970. The tragic loss of 4 students. So that was a difficult time in our history. May it never befall us again. Mr. Regovich, I believe you had something, sir?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry. Corner of my eye, looked like you were trying to get my attention. All right. I'm sorry?
I said, would that be the one where former Governor Rhodes blamed the students for being shot?
Yeah, that would be the one.
Okay, just checking.
That, I'm so tracking. So, moving on to new business. Do we have any new business? I do have an update. Region 13 of the One Ohio board did meet. We've kind of started settling on meeting down in Geauga County. Region 13 consists of Ashtabula, Beulah, Lake, Geauga, and Portage counties. The One Ohio solution is in response to the opioid litigation. against the pharmaceutical manufacturers, and I believe the distributors fit into that track 1, track 2. That was arrived at, and now we're talking organization distribution. We're working on how we are internally going to be passing requests on to the state board. I will say that I am happy to report that our choice of a leaner board, of a county representative, a representative for the incorporated, and a representative for the unincorporated areas of the county, is working out extremely well. Other regions, I am hearing, are having very difficult conversations when it comes to how are we going to handle those monies within our region. They are getting just a little territorial. We are talking, and there's a degree of professionalism amongst us, so we understand that some areas may need a little more help than others, and the heavy lifting. I know Kim Frazier was key in Lake County being a bellwether county for the country regarding the pharmacies. There was a verdict that we recently had, and I know that is under appeal. But Kim Frazier of the Adams Board was one of our key players and one of our forward-facing folks that gave testimony and support to that. So that was, I believe, the 3rd track. So it's been an interesting journey, but the opioid crisis is very real, and there are long-lasting ramifications. We're trying to find ways that we can intervene that are real, substantial, that can be evidence-based, and that are sustainable. So there's a lot of hard work going on, and I'm proud to be serving with this group of people. Let's see, is there any other new business? All right, moving on to our public comments. This is our second public comment portion. Sir.
Brian Massey, 8196 Rainbow Drive, on behalf of Lobbyists for Citizens. I'd like to personally thank Mr. Craig Berry, in charge of the Corrections Board, for opening the Corrections Board up to the public, and I was invited in to take a recording of the entire proceedings. And the reason I find it really very important is when I find out that the judges attend the Corrections Board. I'm asked as a citizen to vote, for judges at the ballot box, but I really don't know them. I don't know their thought process. But I was able to see Judge Collada and Judge O'Donnell in action, and I'll give kudos, to both, especially to Judge Collada. Mr. Berry mentioned that the state does provide some, they want to change the sentencing requirement, as I understand, and low-level felons and misdemeanors, they want to actually not incarcerate them. Upon hearing that, Judge Collada said absolutely not. I don't care if it's money, but he is not going to put, felons out on the street that may cause harm to the citizens. So again, if I was not at that meeting, I would not have heard that. And I wanted to convey that, to people in the community, that I now have a better understanding of Judge Collada and his thought process, and the same thing with Judge O'Donnell. So that's extremely important to me, and hopefully it's important to the people in the community also.
Can I give a little more context?
Yes, please.
So that had to do with 4th and 5th degree felons and the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections wanting to incentivize not incarcerating 4th and 5th degree felons. So again, just wanted to give some context.
Thank you very much. That is correct.
Thank you, sir.
Some statistics regarding the jail. I've been, very involved in the whole process, trying to understand the new jail. I've gone on record saying we definitely need a new jail. Spending money to rehab the existing jail may not be in the community's best interest, but I am confused on the numbers, and perhaps you can clarify it for me. Mr. Berry, Chairman Berry did provide a very extensive Lake County Criminal Comprehensive Plan for 2023, and I compliment him for the amount of work. It's, I don't know, about 30 pages or so with a lot of graphs and statistics. I found very informative. And one of the graphs had to deal with the average jail population count from 2010 all the way to 2022. So it's a 12-year running total of what's the average jail incarceration totals. And, you know, in 2022 was 305. And as I understand it, we have 369 beds currently. The new jail, the plan was for having, if I remember, Mr. Boyd's number was 504 beds. So I'm a little confused. Are we trying to anticipate that there's going to be a lot more needs? It's quite an increase from, if we're averaging 305 up to 504, which is going to increase the cost of the jail. So I'm just wondering if you could correct me on my numbers and maybe give me some background information as far as why we need that jail, because the more beds that you're going to add, you're going to add more space, and right now it's going to be 3 to 4 stories high, 207,000 square feet. And I've also heard that Judge O'Donnell mentioned the possibility of a brand new juvenile corrections center, be that a separate facility and or part of the new public safety center. I guess to be determined, but if we're at 170 million right now, that may add, I don't know, another 20, 40, 60 million, who knows, for a justice center, and that's going to create some real financial hardships on us. So if you can give us some clarification on that, I would appreciate it very much.
We do have the sheriff in attendance. Sir, did you want to comment? Thank you, Mr. Massey. Good morning, sir.
Morning. Statistics are a great thing because you can pick and choose the statistics that benefit you. Some of the statistics Mr. Massey didn't note was in 2016, 17, 18, our jail population was around 379 people a day. But let me fill you in on some of those things. If you go back to 1940, the population in the prison systems in the United States, there were about 120,000 people in prison. In 1960, there were about 220,000 people in prison in the United States. By the 1970s, that population had risen to 600,000. In 1980, America got tough on crime, and the population rose in the preceding 10 years to 2.3 million. What that's an indicator is jail populations are gauged on the social fabric of society at the time. And we have to plan not based on what is currently going on, but on history and where we think it's going. I've been in this field for 35 years, so I have 35 years of statistics. In 1989, there were 100 people in the Lake County Jail, all Lake County inmates out of Lake County courts. There was a waiting list of 900 people waiting to serve time. They would have to call every weekend to come to jail. Can I come this weekend? No, there's no room at the inn. And so that's why this new facility was built in 1990. And that waiting list was burned off. So we brought over 100 Lake County court inmates in 1990. By 2003, that Lake County court population rose to about 215 Lake County court inmates a day. When it first opened, we were housing 60 from Cuyahoga County and 60 from the United States Marshal Service, about 120 inmates a day. So that was bringing in about $3.5 million a year. In 2017, we had 385 inmates. At times, we had 420 inmates a day in a jail built for 350 inmates. We also, in 1990, brought over 12 female inmates. We average 90 female inmates a day now. All of our inmate population today is Lake County Court inmates. We're not housing billables anymore because we have no space at the inn. In 2020, when COVID started, the world shut down. And so when the world shut down, our population dropped to about 200 inmates a day. That was 2020. That was 2021. And so these are COVID numbers. And so when you look at the population of 305 inmates for 2022, one of the things also discussed at the Community Corrections Board meeting is the move from the state to push all 4th and 5th degree felons out of the Ohio prison systems and back to the communities. In order to do that, we are putting an inordinate amount of people on probation to keep them out of jail. The problem is, the courts also complained at this same meeting of second, third, and fourth time probation violations. Those are coming down the line. At some point, that system, and we've seen from history, doesn't work. And so these continual offenders continually violate probation. As an example, if I may go on,
Please.
46% of all felons in Lake County come from outside Lake County. Currently, if you violate probation in Cleveland, they say, geez, we ain't got nobody to come look for you. And so they violate again and again and again because they know if they're rearrested at chance, they're going to be immediately released from the justice system in Cuyahoga County. These same offenders are coming here. What they're finding is they're being arrested, they're sent to court, and they are adjudicated. They believe because if they violate probation, no one's coming looking for them. We are coming looking for them, and they are going to come back, and they are going. Eventually, this jail population is going to again climb, because this society, and this is Franklin and Bruno's opinion, cannot continue to allow everyone to get out of jail free cards. It's creating havoc. We've seen the havoc it's creating in the cities. We've seen it burgeoning into the suburbs. We have to be prepared because the public is beginning to say we can't tolerate this anymore. And the social standards that change some of these things are going to come back around. When they come back around, we have to be prepared for that population. I know it's a lot more than you probably wanted to hear, but my perspective.
And while we have you, one of the other statistics that was mentioned at the meeting, 42% of the current inmates are non-Lake County residents.
46% of all felonies committed in Lake County. We heard 52% of our court population is non-Lake County residents, and those statistics were given yesterday's meeting. Yes.
And that was not entirely tongue-in-cheek, but one of the comments around the table was maybe we should partner with our Visitors Bureau. You know, welcome to Lake County, please come, recreate, do all these really good things, but if you commit a crime, you're going to be held accountable.
And just to note, we've had 3 jail studies in the past 10 years. In every one of those jail studies, and currently over the past year, statistics not only from Lake County, but from across the nation, have been studied in terms of jail populations to base the need of the next facility upon.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, is there anyone else in the audience wishing, Mr. Massey, you were satisfied, yes? At least you got what you were looking for, ish?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
I could go on, but...
Understood. Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to address this board? Anyone else wishing to address the board? All right, thank you. All right, moving on. There is no request for executive session today, so this brings us to hopefully the conclusion of our meeting. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, thank you for joining us today. This meeting stands adjourned.